This is LK19. Because of who we are, you're approved for a new Chevrolet of your choice. CEE 355. You're approved. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy where public both expose and approve. Today, this is your Chevrolet. Because of who we are, thank you for writing MREV, the new safety video. This is Auditorium Station, Auditory Nerve, a Cebus iPhone. We've modified your mirror. We can hear you. This is Pink Shorts, the use of my client's medulla, my primary motor cortex, my primary visual, my primary auditory, my articulate fasciculus, my hippocampus, my vertical, my bracha, my angular gyrus, or any part of the left or right hemisphere of the brain is in agreement. Discretion of all content obtained will be used for the new All Television Broadcast Network for its leverage in news, politics, and equality. Contact us at 594-1443. Two-party consent law is required. It is illegal to record or eavesdrop on any confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call, Google Hangouts, Google Hang-In, Douglas Emmett Realty, without the consent of all parties to the conversation. Penal Code Section 632. Statutes of limitation to apply. Institution claims some careful lasts for 2 years, according to Code Section 335.1. This is a live email you have received. Recognize intrusion upon seclusion claims. Reference Howell versus New York Post Code. Intrusion is a special form of invasion of privacy when you intentionally intrude physically, solitude or seclusion of another. In moist states, intrusion upon seclusion, a plaintiff must generally establish 4 elements. First, without authorization, intentionally invaded the private affairs of the plaintiff or a babysitting business, check. Second, offensive to a reasonable person or a babysitting business, check. Third, a private matter or a babysitting business, check. Fourth, and finally, have caused mental anguish or suffering, pain to the plaintiff. Reference mass tort claims, tortellini, pasta, and intrusion upon seclusion. I'm the attorney guy. Thank you, attorney guy. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do. You said da 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 da. You said da 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 da. Audio experience 11 song. I'm a motivational speaker, richest man in America, universe, world, galaxy. Pink the short way. I saved everything you wanted me to save. Save me some of that peach cobbler. I'm the highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us early or late. Hashtag your favorite song. Hashtag favorite song. Ed FRESH_JORDANZ on all social media every 20 minutes of the hour. Discovered. Remember 311 all to speed your screening process. All liquids must be in a 3-ounce, no weight, size plantainer, TSA. Hello. The LSAT exam, also known as degree exam. Hello, Lakeview. Remember, us be in London in 3-ounce size container. Remember 2511 intercepting wire, oral, and electronic communication. Due to time constraints, we are expediting this introduction. Please close the doors, seatbelts. The music will sink into the sound system. Temperatures on 67 degrees. We're in a 2017 luxury for me toy U. You can roll your windows up, you can roll your windows down, you can ride with us. We have the president on standby. He has a 2-minute video. Let's roll the Blockbuster video. Today's show is sponsored by Blockbuster and YouTube. Red. Hello, Mr. President. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey everyone, this is David Plouffe, Barack Obama's campaign manager, and we just wanted to spend a few moments with you today
Hello, David
talking
Plouffe.
about where we see the election as it stands right now. So we're going to go through a PowerPoint slide show for you.
Plouffe, it's Barack. I'm pinging you from the future.
Where are you? You're supposed to be in Iowa.
It's all good, man. We won Iowa. 3 times, actually. I'm calling you from 2016.
How on earth are you calling from the future? You calling from your BlackBerry?
There's this new app coming out soon, and they're letting me try it out.
What's an app?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll play along with your silly scenario. And what's it like in your so-called...
Hello,
Did you
Barack
get anything done?
Well,
and David
we
Pluff.
passed universal health care. About 20 million people got covered so far.
That's great. I always thought healthcare would be the one place where you could get some great bipartisan cooperation. What about climate change?
We've got the world to sign a global climate agreement.
Sweet.
And by the way, every state has marriage equality now.
Sounds like they should consider you for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Nah, they don't give it to the same person twice.
How's the economy going?
Yeah, heads up on that, Pluff. It's going to be really rough soon. Millions of Americans are going to have a hard time. And we're going to have to start...
Hello.
...get into office. But the good news is we passed a Recovery Act to bring our economy back from the brink of another Great Depression. But the American people, they fight their way back. Wages are going up, though. But we're trying to make sure American workers get more of their fair share at a time when there's record corporate profits. We just put into place updated overtime rules.
Is this Lakeview?
Profits, huh? Wall Street must love you then.
Well, the stock market's more than doubled, but no.
Mike Barney.
We passed the most sweeping Wall Street reform in history.
Mike
Created
Barney.
a new agency called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
It's why I heard some obscure professor from Massachusetts. I think her name is Elizabeth Warren.
I know.
Okay, what else?
Well, we took out bin Laden, used diplomacy to make sure Iran couldn't get a nuclear weapon and avoid another war, and we reopened relations with Cuba.
Next, you're going to tell me the Cubs are the best team in baseball.
They are.
Okay, what about me? I assume I stood by with you till the bitter end.
Actually, you left a few years ago to work for Uber.
Uber?
That's another app. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Korean
well, what kids up to
man.
in your future?
He's at McDonald's.
Still has that campaign diet, huh?
No. He works there now.
Okay, one last question. I'm still trying to nail down your campaign stuff. Any new ideas?
You'll figure it out. See you in the future, Pluff.
See you later.
Groceries. Well, thank you, White House Video, Blockbuster. We'll figure it out. We want to thank Chevrolet Motors for approving us with no cosigner and 4% interest rate. And Channel 4 as well, 4%. We have White House Video in progress from the newsroom. Press briefing. Let's get to it. Date of video is July 15th. Today is the 17th. Hello. Press room.
This is an effort that we have been working to counter all
We're
along.
approved.
Progress, but
Yeah, my
it's
client's approved for a new Chevrolet.
more of a significant threat now, according to some analysts, because of
We're having some video
progress
issues.
we've made in
Oh,
undercutting the fantasy of
hello, C.
counterfeit
355.
interactive sandwich bags.
CAA.
Let me see if I got that correct. So
What are we saying? The
we're
future?
seeing more terrorist attacks because
Are we seeing the
progress
future?
against the core terrorist organizations.
Well,
This is one
alphanumerically,
signal
355
something
is
that
the
we're obviously
future.
watching, carefully. We try to be we wanna be
CEE,
mindful of
Windows
this potential
C.
risk.
What does the White House see is behind the what seems to be a stepped up?
Hello, White
attacks
House.
around
Do
the
you
world?
see the
Today,
future
This morning, Secretary
of the
Kerry said
president?
that it's virtually every week that world leaders have to come out and denounce
The
terrorism.
LSAT.
Why are we seeing more attacks around the world?
Well, listen, I think
What
this
does
is
the White House think?
The LSAT, LT, Malibu.
there are some who are concerned
What do you guys see?
or who are aware of the risk associated
Joe
with the progress we're
Mascarella.
making against
That's correct, V Siri.
against ISIL, Iraq, and Syria. Let me give you one example. We know that in
And
at least one
Siri.
case, some of ISIL's recruitment efforts to foreign fighters has changed.
Do you guys see the
from
primary motor
come travel
cortex?
to Syria and join the fight to
Apartment
Libya.
2 is correct.
the fight there,
239,
or
I know.
consider launching attacks in your home country.
Princeton.
So we know that there is some evolution
North
in
Street.
the direction that ISIL is
Corporate
giving.
apartments.
That's something that we continue to be very mindful of, and we're taking the steps that I just outlined.
What's a
To
corporation?
Iran to try to try to counter that.
307 North.
But look, this is an organization that has
Or have?
that still has a substantial number of
Has
fighters
or
in their command,
have?
and they still have the ability
Really?
to use
Still
social
have.
media to
Too.
add to their ranks. And
We're adding
mindful of
people.
that potential, and we want to make sure that we
Today's show is
continue to
sponsored
be
by the
vigilant
Chewy Chewy
about countering
Gooey
that effort
Chewy
and about taking the steps that are
Chewy
necessary to protect
Chewy Gooey Hot stuff
Do you
pocket
think for what
sandwiches.
was the
Conagra
mentioned
Foods.
earlier, decimating Al Qaeda, the increased intelligence sharing, these fusion centers, the
What's a
countering violence,
corporation?
extremism,
307 North.
efforts closing the border between Syria and
North Pole or
Turkey,
South Pole?
taking
It's the
away
South Pole, you
territory
know?
from,
It's that thing
ISIS
in the South.
in Iraq. Yeah. If it's all adding up to
It's the North Pole, Santa Monica, close.
this just isn't working.
South Pole.
You're citing progress in individual specific areas, and
Is
yet
that correct, White
we're
House?
seeing more
307 North.
violence, we're seeing
Corporate
more,
apartments.
we're seeing widespread attacks.
Well,
I mean,
we have an
they're
exclusive
taking more
because
away,
we
more of them,
received
but they appear to be
literature.
Well, John, the
UB
concern
Today.
that we had if you think back
We
to
received
the summer
UB
of
Today in the
2014,
mail.
when ISIL made this
In
rapid
Paz magazine.
advance
Well, we
across
know. It's a business.
large portions of Iraq.
We
there
know
was
for
this
sure.
concern that there would be a large base of operations that ISIL would be able to
It's the post office
establish
selling
in
literature.
Syria and Iraq that would give them the capacity
UB
to
Today
carry
mail.
out much
Don't pause.
broader, much more
It's
deadly
magnificent. What else
terrorist
is it?
attacks on the scale that we saw on 9/11. And
E-cigarettes.
what we're seeing now is different than that. What we're seeing now more often are essentially lone wolf attacks. Individuals
What's
who,
307
in some
North?
cases, and I can't speak to the Nice case because we just don't know yet, but in some cases
Corporate
aren't even
apartments.
directed by ISIL, but rather are radicalized by viewing their propaganda
Symphony
online. And
Circle.
the president said for a long time that it's very difficult to
Well, today's show is CDMA. Find the missing C. There's two of them.
prevent those attacks from taking place because they're not conspiring with other people, so it's
What
harder
is
to
Symphony
catch them.
Circle?
But it's why we need to be very focused on things like countering
And
violent extremism.
3LW
It's why we need to work
at
effectively with,
Chickawaga Court. License
in
plate.
particular, the Muslim community. We know that
Well, we have an
some
officer and an
parts
all-black
of the Muslim
tourist
community are particularly vulnerable
at
to
Symphony
the
City
radicalizing strategy
CMA
That's
Circle.
that ISIL has undertaken.
Richmond.
The threat that we're facing now is different.
Wadsworth.
Certainly different than the threat that was posed
Pennsylvania.
for Al Qaeda, and different than the threat that
For Al Qaeda.
precipitated the terrible attacks on 9/11.
Precipitated.
As you
The
point
amount
out,
of rainfall
and I certainly wouldn't
or
disagree,
snowfall in a given
they're dangerous,
location.
they're violent, and we need to dedicate significant resources to
Yeah.
preventing them, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And I understand you're 100% correct. Last question. It's Congress that declares war. It's not the president that declares war. But on the substance,
Hello, Dulcinfo.
does the White House agree with Donald Trump that we are
Are they all the
effectively
same?
engaged in or need to be engaged in a world war right now, and that we should declare war on
Thank you,
ISIS?
media.
I know it's not the White House to do, but does the White House think that would be a good idea or a bad idea to actually declare war? This is different from
Thank you,
obviously
Dulcinfo.
authorizing force.
And
Yes,
Sapple
Declaration
Sub.
of war against a terrorist
Our Steve
organization.
Jobs interview is
the
soon.
president on a number of occasions has
Only on Pink
acknowledged,
Shorts.
has
We'll be
essentially
talking to the
declared
Apple guy
that the United States
about
is
the
at war,
I-7
with terrorist organizations.
September
like ISIL.
release.
The best
That's
example of this
right,
was just
Alan. We'll be talking to
December 6th, 2015. You recall the
Steve
president
Jobs.
an address in the Oval Office, and included in that address, he said, "Our nation has been at war with terrorists since Al Qaeda killed nearly 3,000 Americans on 9/11."
The Apple
The president
7S.
has not been
We look
reluctant
forward to your new
to
phone.
apply the definition of war against the terrorists that have attacked us.
Hello,
And
LSO.
frankly, that's why he believes it's so important for Congress to fulfill their responsibility. To pass
thank
an
you,
authorization to military force that
LSAT,
would
the
send a clear
LSAT.
signal to the country, to our allies, and to our enemies
And Robert
the country
Clarkson
is
from the
united
Clarkson
in this
Center.
effort. Against ISIL. I think
Tracy
the thing
in
the president
Delaware.
has also taken pains to point out
Taking
is that we are
pains.
not at war with Islam. We are at war with a terrorist organization that attacked us.
Hello, Mike
that
Barney
perverts
Nissan
Islam to try to recruit people to their cause. Okay.
in Lakeview.
The means of this attack, of course, was a truck. When the airplanes were used to attack the U.S., there was pretty immediate
That's fine.
in terms of airport security and procedures. Trucks are a lot more ubiquitous, of course, than
It's the
airplanes,
Pentagon. That's all.
but they could be a threat basically anywhere there could be a truck. Are there any thoughts or discussions going on at this point about any sort of security?
Today's show is sponsored by 883-4011
I'm not
American
aware of
American.
any changes
Free
like that that are
grant
being
that
contemplated right
experience.
now.
First
But as I
Niagara
mentioned,
40,
Toronto, there's a whole lot
11,
more that we need
Elise
to learn
one.
about this particular incident. And if there are some steps that our Homeland Security professionals conclude that we could take that would enhance our security in this country, given what happened,
That would enhance
then
307
I'm
North
confident they'll move forward with implementing those.
and
those
South
security measures.
Pole.
How concerning is it to the administration that this individual
It's a corporate
was
business.
apparently not on any terrorist
The lead,
watch list? Many
pharmaceuticals.
of the perpetrators of recent attacks have been known to at least some intelligence services, and this person appears to have been much more under the radar. How concerning is that there wasn't intelligence on him?
Well, I think this actually goes to I think John's question, which is we're mindful of the risk that is posed by
Today's show is sponsored by
So-called
WQRM,
This is an
WIVB,
individual
Nuclear,
that
New
doesn't
New
have
Nicole,
immediate
New Williams,
or necessarily
Nuclear,
even any
307 North.
direct
It's a
ties
corporation.
to a terrorist organization or
Look in
broader
your mail
terrorist
for
network or
mailers from UV
conspiracy.
Today
These are
and
individuals who are radicalized based on propaganda that they view online.
Oh, turn to page 3. They made it. They did authors
That
of the
propaganda
magazine.
prompts them to carry out these violent attacks,
We received literature
and we're quite concerned about it.
from
And these are,
Citibank
it's very difficult
and the
to
U.S.
interrupt,
Postal Service.
disrupt
You received literature.
attacks
what?
that are plotted and planned just by one person.
Dr. Phil, you say?
That said, the Department of Justice on a
Dr.
regular
Phil,
basis
Dr. Oz.
issues news releases of individuals
Add a page to it.
apprehended
You've got Paul's
based on
magazine.
investigations that they've conducted.
Top cherry juice man
And based on what they have concluded,
Yeah, the
there's solid
tart cherry
evidence that these
juice
individuals
man
were preparing to
magazine.
carry out a lone wolf attack.
Tart
So
cherry.
we do have mechanisms in place to disrupt those kinds of plots. The Department of Justice and our men and women at the FBI are quite skilled at doing
Department of Center for
That's very
Disease
difficult
Control.
so. Director Comey, when talking about
Yeah, him.
an attack here in the United States,
Reimbursement.
described this as a situation of looking for not just a needle in a haystack, but looking for pieces of hay that turn into needles. And that's a particularly challenging task. It's one that the FBI and the
Hello,
Department of
Bruce
Justice
A.
is quite good at,
Lehman.
but it's very difficult nonetheless.
Department of Commerce.
And that's something that this is not a threat that just the United States faces.
And hello,
Most
Vernon
countries around the
Jordan.
world, including France, have to counter this threat as
And
well.
Fresh Jordans.
Cheryl.
Thanks, Josh. I have two questions. One, I'm seeing comments by Speaker Ryan that he's leaving open the possibility of a TPP vote this year. Do you have any updates on when the president might move forward on TPP?
I don't have any updates at this point. The White House is committed to working
Who are they
with
talking about? I don't understand.
Speaker Ryan and Leader McConnell to try to get TPP ratified. We've acknowledged
Hello,
that
who are you?
our ability to succeed in that effort is going to require
Is
working
this
bipartisan
307 North
And I don't just mean
or South
the
Pole?
Democratic president working with the Republican leaders in the House and Senate. I also mean that the Republican leaders in the House and Senate are going to have to coordinate with
Is this a porterhouse state?
not just the members of their Republican
Red
conference, but they're also going to
Lobster.
have to work with Democrats on Capitol Hill to build the bipartisan majority that's necessary to
Is this
to ratify
seafood?
TPP. The president also obviously believes strongly that Congress should
Open the
ratify
window.
the TPP as soon as possible. He believes that it includes significant benefits for the American
Are you a
economy, for American
replica?
workers, and for American businesses. This is an agreement that
This is
includes
Geico.
the highest ever standards as it relates
Who was
to
this black guy?
environment,
Co.
and the labor conditions, human rights, protecting intellectual property.
Long distance.
And what's notable is that those higher standards are enforceable right inside the agreement. The president believes this is an effective strategy.
You
not
called
just
him the president. You
in
say.
the U.S. economy, but also in countering the growing influence of China in that region. If the United States
What's the
shies
color
away
on?
from trying to raise these standards,
Invisible
we know that
fence.
China will not hesitate to step into
You
that
got an
breach,
invisible fence on
and
you.
write standards that put American businesses and American workers at an even further disadvantage.
Today's show is sponsored by 307 North, UB Today Literature, and Dr. Oz Literature in the mail.
The TPP is our best bet.
Located near Symphony Circle, CDMA, and TDMA, and GSM Technologies.
If the HHS secretary could reprogram funds and maybe provide more funds for Zika that way.
And the new LSAT Malibu.
Well, I don't have any announcements like that. You know that the
You don't
Department
say.
of Health and Human Services has
LT.
already reprogrammed
Add an SI
several
to
$100
it.
million in funds for this effort. We did so even though we continue to be quite concerned about the
Take
potential
the degree with you.
of
The law
the
exam.
risk that's posed by Ebola.
And Susan us.
So
Don't
to
Susan.
further take
Yeah,
away
don't
funding from
shush,
that
you know,
effort
they're
in order
gonna,
to fight Zika is could
H1
potentially be
L5,
counterproductive.
you know?
So it's something that we're quite reticent to do.
So we're requesting
What we'd
500
simply like to
billion
see
because of
is
the tourists.
Congress respond to
Ford
the
also
request
makes the Ford
from
500.
Democratic and Republican governors
And we
across the
think it's
country and from
perfect.
our public health professionals who laid out exactly what
Perfect.
resources they need to do everything possible.
Today's
to
show
make
is Pink Shorts
American
Adobe
people
Illustrator
successful.
pre LK20. I'm sorry, 19, Miles White.
And here we are,
Programming,
5 months later.
mistakes in
Congress hasn't,
programming, featuring Nicole Blowacki.
approved that request. And that's the source
And the
of
new
concern
Chevy
among the
Beretta.
president. It's also something that
At Al.
means
Add an L to
that
the Beretta.
we're right now not doing everything possible to protect
Hello,
American people
Barry.
from the
We
Zika
know.
virus. And, that's something that
No.
Republicans in Congress have to account for. Okay. Well,
the French authorities
Chevy
released,
Beretta.
of the driver of this truck, the man who was shot by police.
Today's show is sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law, law firm and salary advances, separated bonuses, tuition and bar exam review courses reimbursement,
for any information
relocation,
that we have had about this individual.
and real
I know
estate
that
benefits.
What French authorities have indicated is that
Acquisition interest.
he
Acquisition
is,
interest
he was not
supply
somebody who
within
was,
state all
considered a terrorist
qualifications.
there. He was somebody whose
Revenue incentives, we don't pay
interaction with
full
law
price
enforcement
or
had been
donate to
limited-
Title VI
had been
X to
limited
CSC
to
with
him
iPhone.
committing some
Douglas Emmett Realty,
relatively low-level crimes.
Court Furniture, Loan Forgiveness, and join
You're
us
gonna get a
from
number of schools
America's
that
top law
lone
schools.
attack
$200,000. Hashtag your favorite song.
is particularly hard to disrupt.
This is a terrorist attack, as have French authorities. What if it is confirmed that there are no ties at all to any terrorist groups for this man?
Hello, literature department. You'll be today.
Was a bad personal
Do you
situation,
recall?
a case of depression, a divorce he was going through, nothing to do with
Ball
all with
bearings,
terrorism. Would you still though stick
Pet
with that
boys, do you
definition if
recall?
Well, what
Do you
we-
recall the ball
as
bearings?
a note
The
of media,
repair.
we still need to learn more about
This
this
is
individual,
Geico.
about his potential motivation for carrying out this
This channel 4
attack,
recall the ball
and
bearings.
his
The repair.
potential links.
Well,
to
that
the
was
other,
the
organization.
front right tire,
So,
right?
We'll
That's
certainly take a
correct.
close look at this situation, and we're going to support the French investigators who are obviously leading the investigation.
Material support, you don't
There
say.
are significant capabilities that we have to
LT Malibu, you
we
don't
won't hesitate
say.
to use them.
the Secretary of
Today's
Homeland
show is
Security
sponsored by the new
traveled to
LSAT
September
exam
21,
review.
I believe, to sign a book of condolences.
At MerriweatherA.Law, we pay
Are there any
all
plans for the president to
exam
do something
fees,
like that in the coming days?
degree, or the LSAT.
We'll keep you posted if something like that happens.
Keep us
I believe
posted
Secretary
with the
Johnson
new
did,
positive
sign a condolence
magazine
book, but also had
from
an
UB
opportunity to
today
spend time with the French ambassador to the United
at
States.
307 Corporate Apartment,
We certainly intend to continue those kinds of
located near
consultations.
Symphony Circle, CDMA, GSM, and Buffalo PD, and Fort Taurus, all black.
Because when you look at something like, we're not sure what happened in Nice, but something like what happened in Orlando versus a centralized, developed conspiracy plot that was
Family dollar, what?
planned and executed. The terms
What,
used
may I help
by
you with
White House saying
hairstyle?
situations seem to be different. Can you explain how you see and the thought in using that term?
In this case, we're using that term because French officials have. French officials are the ones.
Not a US conviction that's not
An all black Ford Taurus, you say?
terrorism.
Well, no, our views of
Holes in
terrorism,
all red
is that's what
toys.
our oldest allies and friends have concluded. They're the ones who are conducting this investigation.
They're the
As
ones.
they learn more about this investigation,
As
as
they
they need
learn.
to update their assessment, I'm confident
Update their
that they will. We'll work with them on that
They will
investigation. And if they
portray.
update their assessment, we'll do the same.
Update their assessment.
But as the president said last night, this appears to be terrorism.
This
That
is
appearance was
Geico.
confirmed by the French president, whose government is leading this investigation. And obviously, the people of the United States stand shoulder to shoulder with our oldest allies and friends as they
Red and
confront
black
terrorism in a
Tauruses.
variety of forms.
Because it seems these days.
Today's show is sponsored by the new
I mean, the flags
LSAT
that
exam.
more often
Malibu
than not,
LT.
president
You don't
makes
say.
comments like this. I mean, there's a litany of attacks I could read off. I'm not going to, but it's becoming almost
And the new Chevy
a
Beretta.
rote memory, a
XL.
recitation of what we do each
Hello,
time
Barry.
these attacks happen. I mean, is this just going to be not the new normal for the world, but the new normal of just what happens every time there's an attack? It's assumed and just
Lucky
explained
you.
as this is part of us winning on the
Lucky.
battlefield, that this is kind of lashing out is going to happen. I mean,
Good luck,
the
Selena
public
and
would look
Bonds.
at
Hello.
that and say, in some ways, it's that much more terrifying. That
Call
it's unanticipated, that it's,
844-2020.
just in the streets. People
Happy
are celebrating
birthday,
rather
good
than a
lucky.
centralized plot.
Good lucky view.
Well, listen, I think you're drawing an important distinction because there are
Good lucky
differences
view,
between
President.
a
Hello.
large-scale terrorist
This
conspiracy
is Geico.
and the kind of lone wolf attacks that we've seen.
We've seen Selena and
Those
Bonds in the
large-scale
prism.
terrorist conspiracies have the
Geo
potential
prism.
to be much more bloody, to be much more violent,
Hello,
to claim
Mr.
many more
Giles from
deaths
Lafayette.
than the kind of lone
Mr.
wolf
Giles
attacks
White.
that we've seen in the last few weeks.
We've seen an attorney in a
We
Geo
certainly grieve
prism.
for those who've been lost in these lone wolf attacks.
I'm Porter.
We certainly expend significant resources and are vigilant about trying to prevent
Yep,
those
we've
lone
seen him in
wolf
the 10
attacks.
Geo prism.
But they are materially
The
different,
first black
and they
president.
require a different strategy, but a strategy that we are just as committed to
Right by
implementing
Subway.
in order to protect the safety and security of the American
Subway
people
and duty
and of our allies.
free.
You have on the calendar, I think next week, this
What will they be
anti-ISIS
free
coalition
from?
meeting happening in Washington.
Well,
Is
you
that
got a Call
going
of
to
Duty. You
change
got
in any
CDMA.
way? Is the White House going to be
Code
more
Division.
involved in that?
Well, this is
Free from a cell
meeting
phone.
that Secretary Carter is
two cell
convening with his
phones.
counterparts who are making a
How
substantial
many
military
cell phones,
contribution to our
Joshie?
counter-ISIL efforts. He's organized that meeting. It had been
How
previously
many cell
scheduled
phones are they free
for the
from?
end of next week, I believe, at Andrews Air Force Base.
Altruism.
I don't have any updates to the agenda at this point,
You don't
but
blow.
if anything like that,
You don't pocket.
if there are any updates to that agenda, we'll definitely let you know.
And finally, Secretary Kerry
The
said today
duty
when he
free
was in
from
Moscow
Canada.
that, when he was talking about
And the
peace, he said
Subway.
it's on a weekly basis now, and he called Syria the single greatest incubator for terrorism
And mass
in the world right now.
true Bethel attack.
Does the White House agree with
HIV.
that? And in some ways,
Looks
doesn't
like a
that
true Bethel on
raise
Porter.
questions if the plan for the past 5 years not to use
A
large-scale
Subway and a
military force
duty free.
should be revisited? I mean, is that an acknowledgement that there was
Is that
some
correct, White House?
overestimation of this being contained?
Well, I guess what I would say
Yes, I
is simply
know.
that
Tell me the
we
truth,
have been
Joshie.
concerned
Please.
about the potential terrorist
I
threat
need
from
the
ISIL
truth.
for more than 2 years now. And the president formed an
Boy.
international coalition of more than 66 nations to counter it. Not just to counter it, but to degrade and ultimately destroy it.
I know it's
Because
him.
we're mindful of the terrorist threat that emanates from there.
Because Selena went Burns.
I think what the president would argue is also true, and we're happy to have
Mr.
this argument,
Giles.
is that as difficult
A prism is
and
a
violent
shape. It's
and
the
complex
geometry.
as this problem
Lafayette, I
is,
know it's true.
the ultimate solution is not a military one.
It's a prism.
We can certainly apply significant military pressure and devote significant resources,
It's a
and we
shape.
have. The commander-in-chief has ordered it
Mr. Giles.
against ISIL to counter them, to degrade them,
Lafayette.
and to ultimately destroy them.
Mr. Miles, I
But the
know
root
it's
cause
true.
of all of this
I know it's true.
has been the failed political leadership of Bashar al-Assad.
It's the president
that
who
this-
In terms of the
makes you.
estimation of this being a
He's
massive,
good lucky.
the biggest
Good lucky
incubator of terrorism
view.
in the world, was that underestimated?
Thank you, Selena and Barnes, at the
Based on
end
the
of
fact
your
that
phone
we've
call.
built a coalition of
Good
66
luck.
nations and dropped 13,000 airstrikes,
Good luck for you.
or conducted 13,000 airstrikes against them, based on the significant commitment of resources, not just the
We want to
military
thank
effort,
Blockbuster for
but to
sponsoring our
organize our
show.
diplomatic efforts to counter their
YouTube
financing, to
Red.
try to prevent them from
Try it for 99
recruiting
cents.
foreign fighters from all around the world. I think the strategy that we have implemented
And the
against them
Buffalo News and
has
UB
yielded
Literature,
important
UB Today,
progress.
and Dr.
But
Oz.
the president acknowledged at the
Available in your
beginning
mailbox at
that this was a long-term
307
proposition. It
North
was going to require some
of
tenacity and
corporate
some follow-through,
business
that we wouldn't be able to chart our progress in a straight line, that
Symphony.
there'd be some areas where
Upgrade
we,
your SIM
some days
cards
where we
today.
feel like we were making progress, and
You
occasionally
got a SIM
we
card,
would suffer a
lad, don't you?
setback. And anytime you see the
I've got a
loss
SIM
of
card.
so many innocent people
You
in
got a
allied
SIM
nations,
phone, you got an officer and a
certainly
tourist
is
following you on Wadsworth.
a day where it's hard to feel like you're making a lot of progress. And that's
And
why
we've
we
got
warn
the
with our French allies.
psychiatrist.
But
Thank you,
it
Erie County
certainly is not
Forensic
going to diminish
Psychiatry.
our commitment. If anything,
Dr.
it's only going to
Cousins
further
in Wadsworth.
energize our multilateral, multinational effort to degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL.
Well,
Again,
we
I
hope,
say all
glad,
of that
hope you enjoyed.
even before we understand what the true motivations were of this individual. But whether or not this person had ties to
We
ISIL,
hope you enjoyed all the
the president
features
is committed to making
of
sure
Geico.
that we do everything possible to protect the American people. Okay. Kevin.
We hope you
Thanks,
enjoyed
Josh. As
Geico.
expected, the Intelligence Committee has published the
Yeah, I hope you
previously
enjoyed
classified 28
Geico.
pages. For the people who are not awash in this on a daily basis, what does the White House want the American people to take away from the fact that these pages are now public, they're now available, and what's the White House's perspective on, now that they are out there, how the White House feels about that?
Well, I think the number one takeaway for people should be that this administration is committed
Enjoy
to transparency,
Geico.
even when it comes
Save
to
16% a month.
sensitive
I'll
information
call
related to our
insurance.
national security. Just within the last couple of weeks, the administration
Call
published for the first time
854-20,
the numbers of people
22.
who, of civilians
Just two
who were
20s.
casualties from a U.S. counterterrorism operations. The
Why is there a
wants to
dog?
declassify key elements of the CIA interrogation report
Why is there no social
that
security
was
number?
written by the United States Senate Intelligence Committee.
Well, you got it. They're all
And
interrupt.
today's announcement was part of an effort to try and be as transparent as
To
possible
try to be.
about investigative material that was collected in the context of
They all have dog
investigating
collars
the
on them.
terror attacks of
Why?
9/11.
Why?
This information, even as it's now publicly available, does not change the assessment of the U.S.
Channel
government.
2 interviewed me at the
that
polls.
There's no evidence that the Saudi government, as an
There's no
institution, or
Democrats.
senior Saudi officials individually funded Al Qaeda.
There's no cost.
I'm reading that language because that's the language that was included in the 9/11 Commission report. And the 9/11 Commission was able to draw on the information that's been declassified today as they wrote their report. They were able to do follow-up interviews and to further investigate those leads. Those leads didn't really turn up anything as it relates to specific evidence
That's correct,
about the Saudi
Josh.
government as an institution or senior Saudi officials.
We wanted to
individually funding
change.
Al Qaeda.
Interesting how they use the expression senior Saudi officials. Does that mean to suggest that maybe there
2004.
were some lower level Saudi individual government officials that may have been involved
Grover
in
Cleveland.
providing material support for those who were at least alleged to have been co-conspirators to the 9/11 attacks?
I haven't looked lately at the 9/11 Commission report, but certainly that is a comprehensive document that that was written to provide as much information as possible about what contributed to the attacks of 9/11.
I've also said on a previous occasion that the White House was against JASTA, and I'm just wondering why there would seem to be this disconnect between the White House's view of JASTA when there are so many in the United States Senate, overwhelmingly so, who feel like this may be a very good idea.
Well, Kevin, this just goes back to a long-held principle here about the risk that this legislation would pose to.
It's pretty narrow, wouldn't you agree? At least the way it's currently constructed.
Again, based on the analysis that's been conducted by our lawyers here in the U.S. government, the way that this law is written could open up U.S. companies and even potentially U.S. personnel to vulnerabilities
Enjoy
when they're
the view. Only on a big site.
engaged in actions or doing business or conducting official government work
We've met before.
overseas. There is an important principle
Don't
related
start
to
it
sovereign
right
immunity.
now.
And when you're the most
Don't
powerful
pause.
country in the world, you're invested in the idea of sovereign immunity, given how deeply the United States is involved in some of these.
Verizon and
So we believe
Frontier.
that's a principle worth protecting.
Explain the
And
linkage.
that is the concern that we
What is
have
the link?
with this
Frontier
legislation, at least the way
and
that the
Verizon.
most recent draft was
Two
put
cell
forward.
phone companies.
Doesn't have to do with any specific country, but rather has to do with our concern about a specific principle that benefits the United States
Suggested
and
aborted.
private
This
U.S.
is anonymous.
interests.
My
in countries
client's
all
not
around.
answering that.
Well, there are some instances, just broadly speaking, as a general matter, that the White
We've
House
met before.
found
That's all I'll
concerning
say.
in the review of some of those 28 pages.
We've met the hologram.
Specifically, there seems to be a
Gemini
suggestion that
holograms in
there
theaters
may have been
now.
material
Thank
support
you.
provided to one of the so-called co-conspirators, possible
Yeah,
co-conspirators.
we've met the
And
hologram.
yet, while you've said there's no specific proof, were there
We've met the hologram of the
White House
president.
or
We
others
met you.
were concerned? Some things didn't exactly pass the so-called smell test. They look
We have a
suspicious,
right
to be
hand
blunt.
shot on Gemini
The White House has not
holograms.
conducted
We've
an
met you
investigation
before.
into this matter, and the reason we didn't have to do that is that there was a 9/11 commission that was formed that looked at all this evidence. They were able to follow up on this information. They were
You
able
met
to
the hologram.
follow these investigative leads. I know that they did interviews in a variety of other countries to pursue those leads. And despite all of that investigation,
That does it for today's show. We'll talk to you guys on the re-air. Again, rent Gemini holograms. Available on Netflix. Gem and the hologram. Democrats and holograms. We met you.
this particular situation.
We've met
The
Democrats and
conclusion is
holograms.
unchanged.
Gem is truly outrageous.
These 28 pages today.
Okay, it is Friday. You know, throw a little sports your way. Deflategate is apparently over. Tom Brady says he's no longer going to push it. He's going to be out.
Thanks, media.
4
We love
games
you.
to start the NFL season. Big reaction from the White House. I know President Big Football.
Well, it certainly is.
Thank you, Democrats and holograms. Have a good lucky day.